What is happening, everybody, and welcome back to today's episode of Why Did I Buy a Mini Truck? As you can see, I got the Blue King cab in here. We are putting in some work today. So let's start off by just taking a look in here. So it looks pretty crazy right now, but we have all the airlines ran and routed where they're going to mate in the center console. Also back there, we have the air compressor switch and a couple other things running through the firewall now. We are going to relocate that battery, get it all set up right, but for now we moved it so I didn't drill into it a whole bunch. So back here, what you can see is we have that pressure sensor right here. So this is off at 170 and on at 120. The tank, I'm not sure what the PSI rating is on it. Now we are still waiting on a new tank, so that's something we're going to do later, but we got the fittings in. Got this routed right along here and just goes right inside of here. Now those are protected. I did just get a new step bit, so what I'm actually going to do is pull all the stuff that goes into the firewall out this weekend. We're going to step it up a little bit and we're going to put another grommet in. I might actually see if I can fit a couple things through the same hole. And if we can, then that's going to be pretty awesome. So, crouch down here. See, we got our ground landed here, got another one landed on the other side. Got our power wire for our compressor, runs right along here. I will be putting some P-clamps in once the new tank is in, but for now, that's where we're at. So it runs through here. Both of these main power wires come together into this loom. They're gonna run right through here. And I got them labeled Aircomp 1 and Aircomp 2. So I had that backwards, but you know, they're labeled, so when they run through the firewall here, like I said, this is why I'd like to go ahead and take this airline out, just drill maybe a 1-inch hole, put a rubber grommet in there, and then pass all of this through at the same time. As far as the engine bay goes, we still have everything in here. Now the whole entire harness is pulled. What we are doing is hopefully not this weekend, but next weekend, we're gonna get everything set up so we can go ahead and pull this drivetrain out. So that'll be really nice. Get another shot of that routing for the airlines. Now you might be wondering, why is there 3 on this side and only 2 on this side? That's because one of those lines is the feed line from the compressor to the valve body. And then this line right here that's just kind of short, that's just temporary for the dump. What we will do is after we mount it in the center console, go ahead and we'll drill a hole straight down, or maybe go through one of these holes that are already here, and we're going to go ahead and put the dump down below. And I'm even going to put it on a little T fitting so it shoots out each side, maybe make it sound a little less loud. Now the dash, everything is still out of here. That's the main power wire right there that runs from the alternator, but since we're going to be swapping that motor out to the K24, there's no need to have that anymore, so we're going to go ahead and reroute that because I wasn't 100% happy with how it was routed through the firewall to begin with. Now I just want to jump back here real quick. I am going to be securing this portion that runs for the air compressors, but I am going to wait until we route that bag line because I am going to tuck it down under here and then have it just go in there. So as of right now, everything is wired up into the cab for the air suspension, which is great. I did have a small leak here at this water separator. I went ahead and took care of that, took it off, put some sealer in it, put it back in. I thought that the sealer it came with would have been enough, but it wasn't. It was in fact leaking. So right now, the way this is set up, if we supply power to those 2 wires right there, these air compressors will turn on and they will start to fill this tank. Now, what I don't want to do is run it like that, you know, obviously. Otherwise, the compressors are just going to keep filling up. So we're running this pressure switch, like I said. Now this pressure switch is going to be interrupting the main signal for both of the relays that we'll be wiring up, because we're going to run 2 40 amp relays. I got some Vivairs here somewhere. We're going to be running 2 of those 40 amps, and what we're going to do is we're going to run them inside, get them all wired up, and then the other signal wire, the one that's going to feed, we're actually going to hook up onto a switch just in case that air pressure sensor ever fails, or you notice that there's way too much PSI building in the tank, because there will be a sensor for the tank PSI and PSI for each bag. So I actually have those. They are somewhere. Let me look for them. Okay, sick. Here we are. So these are going to replace the ones in the front eventually, probably after we do the lower control arm kit. Just because I like how these are. They swivel nice. They're one solid piece as opposed to having an adapter that then goes to a DOT fitting. So, as you may remember, I had to order these nifty little 45-degree fittings for the pressure sensors for each bag. And in here are the gauges for said bag, which is pretty nice. I think this is actually like a little instruction manual. Oh, sure enough, it is the one for the Jack's 4-play, which is pretty cool. So, yep, we do have a filter supply from the tank into our ports, into our bags, yada yada. Now, we are going to be doing the sensors in there, but I am also going to be throwing a sensor here. I'm thinking about utilizing one of these extra half-inch NPTs. Now those are currently plugged. The plugs are just black, so you can't see them that well. But we might tap into one maybe on that far side there, and we'll go ahead and just hook a gauge up, and we'll run it along this this loom here. Now these are super handy. Bought these online. These nifty little things. Really cool. You know, you drill yourself a hole and you pop them in and they retain, which is super nice. Great for wiring, and they're cheap enough that if I do want to add anything here, I can just pop these out and go ahead and pop some new ones in, and we can go ahead and loom it up. So I was debating on whether or not to put another one kind of like down here or on the side here. But I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to hit the tire. And that is what is the most important thing. So guys, that pretty much wraps up what I did today. There was, it doesn't sound like a lot, but there was definitely a lot of heat shrink, a lot of measuring, a lot of cutting wires, a lot of soldering, a lot of getting everything figured out beforehand. Now, whenever you do wiring and stuff, it's super important that you have a game plan. I can't tell you how many times I've been like, oh yeah, this will be perfect, and I loom it all up, and I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot. I could have totally added like 7 more wires inside of this one loom. And then you have to cut it all out, reloom it. It's just a huge mess. So this is where we're at for the truck today. We'll be working on a little bit more tomorrow, try to get some videos together. I am just posting from my phone, so like I'm not editing anything. I'm not adding in multiple videos. Like this is a one-shot kind of deal. So I definitely appreciate everybody bearing with me for it. Now, I am very excited. Once this is airing up, you know, once we get in there, we get that fuse box hooked up, and this airs up on its own. I mean, from then, it's pretty much full throttle as far as like getting this motor and transmission out, going ahead, sound deadening the inside after we paint it. So all of this stuff, running the air lines, running this wire, and getting everything working, that is really just going to like jumpstart us to go ahead and pull this engine and trans out. Once all that's out, we're going to clean up the engine bay, make that firewall crispy clean, get everything nice and tucked, and then engine transmission will be in, firewall, the fenders will be painted. Now that's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we're going to be redoing these arches. We're going to be doing a bunch of good stuff in here. That's definitely another video. My point is that all of the stuff that I'm running in here right now, all of the work that we're doing inside the truck, all of this is going to come back out, and we're going to go ahead and get everything in here cleaned out, strip it all down, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint it black, just a nice satin black. Then we're going to come back over and we're going to sound deaden it. Now, I do have some spray deadening for the doors that I'm thinking about using. Honestly, I'm going to test it out on the bed first because I'm not 100% when it comes to spray liners. It's that DEI stuff right there. Not 100% when it comes to spray on liners, so it's definitely something that we're going to have to test. We're going to test it out on the bed first and see what we like. But I got plenty of soundproofing material to cut up, lay down, get where we need to go. So thank you everybody for sticking with me, watching the videos. It has definitely been a labor of love. And we are this close to getting this to air up, getting the battery in, getting the auxiliary fuse box in. And I mean, and then that's it. And then we can just move on and get this thing rolling. I am going to be super excited to see that K series go in here. That K24 is going to be awesome. I'm just going to be excited just to have a really nice truck. So thank you everybody for watching, sticking by, stay tuned. New video coming out in a couple of days. Probably not tomorrow, maybe the day after that, maybe Friday. So we'll see what happens. And if you guys have any ideas, you guys want to chime down in the comments, let me know if there's something you would do differently, something you want to change, any tips or tricks, anything that you got, any of those hard body guys out there watching this, hit me up, slippity slide up in my DMs, and I will see you guys all on the next one.